Welcome back to Hanratty'S Huddle with your guest, Terry Hanratty. I'm Dave Torromeo, and Terry, welcome to another version of the podcast, and how are you?
Well, very good, Dave, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to that big game.
We sure are.
It's amazing how what a lead up is to it.
Oh yeah,
and how much every team can be critiqued, yes. Every player, every backup, every whatever.
Every cheerleader, it's
for the ESPNs of the world to find filler is just amazing.
Oh, it is amazing, and we'll see a lot. Obviously, 2 exciting games coming up Sunday. But before we get into the football, let's jump back into a world we don't really delve into much. Or we haven't. Women's college basketball. There was an excellent game on over the weekend. Ohio State and Iowa. Thank you. Overtime game. Ohio State wound up winning 100-92. And for those who don't know, Iowa has probably the best women's player, maybe pro or college, in Caitlin Clark. You have a story you want to share, but what happened after the game?
I heard this, and I did not see the game.
Okay.
And I heard that she got attacked on the court. And I go, wow, that's interesting. So I went to obviously Google that game.
Yeah.
And they showed the incident. And it was Ohio State won the game.
Right.
And they stormed the court.
Correct.
And just as she's trying to get off the field, a young lady came running the other direction and ran into her, and they both went down. It was nothing even close to being anything attacked. I mean, it was just one of those bad situations where 2 people happened to run into each other. It was bad. But more importantly, nobody was hurt. Either, Caitlin Clark is fine, and the girl who ran into her, she's fine also.
Right.
But there has to be something done, especially in the collegiate level, because the pros have pretty much covered that. You never see in the NFL storming the field. Yep. In college, you see football storming the field, which I'm totally against. Because, it's nice for everybody to blow off steam and enjoy themselves around. But there are players out there, and people can get hurt on the field.
Yeah.
And I can remember one time back in 1966 of all years. That's a long time ago.
Sure was.
We were at Notre Dame, and we were undefeated, number 1 in the country. We're going in to play Pittsburgh, which is my home area, Butler, Pennsylvania, 30 miles north. And it's also a big Notre Dame area. So there was a lot of enthusiasm of the game. Mm-hmm. And Pitt was not very good. It was sort of a slam dunk for us, put in time and we're gonna win the game. Mm-hmm. So, but after the game was over, and we beat them pretty solidly, and after the game was over, I made the mistake of staying just for a couple of seconds and saying hello to someone that I knew that was on the field. Another, a player from Pitt who I was recruited, many schools with, and we traveled together. And just in that real short instance, I was surrounded by hundreds of people looking for autographs. Now, here I was, and I couldn't move.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a scary situation because it was very claustrophobic.
Sure.
Because everybody was just squeezing in on me. I didn't have room to sign an autograph.
Yeah.
It was that close. And it was a panic situation on my part. Luckily, Notre Dame realized where's Hanratty.
Yeah.
And they sent 2 security guys out to bust up the group. It was nothing malicious.
I understand.
People were being very nice, but they just want an autograph.
Yeah.
But it's a scary situation for the player involved in this thing.
Yeah.
And they dragged me out of that crowd and brought me into the locker room. And that was interesting times and, something I don't want to go through again.
Yeah.
There has to be some rule. I know a lot of schools have, conferences, a couple conferences have put in rules that if you storm the court, you're going to be fined.
Correct.
If the NFL can stop a lot of people, 60, 70,000 people from storming the field, everybody should be able to do that. You have to bulk up your security for games, especially big games. When you're playing the number 1 team in the country and you realize you got to be in your office thinking, listen, if we upset this team, there's going to be something on that court. So we better bring in extra people. If 2 teams are, 0-40, there's not going to be much rushing the court.
Yeah, well, you're right, and you're right about the conferences that are finding schools when it does happen, and they are trying to curtail it. I do think the NFL has done a great job keeping people off the field, as well as Major League Baseball. Now you see it when the World Series. You very rarely see what happened in '69 with the Mets. When they tear up the field and they destroy. But those as fun scenes as though we're for me as a kid watching those, obviously you just realize, man, that was really dangerous for those players. And your story, obviously, is one. Well, I guess the moral of the story is don't be social. You should have just run off the field.
Well, you have to get ahead of these situations that could be bad.
Now
and that's one of them.
Right. Now back to Caitlin Clark, obviously. So the AD from Ohio State went over to their locker room, apologized on behalf of the college. She was fine. She had the wind knocked out of her, but she did not complain. She didn't make a big deal out of it. But as an aside, if you haven't seen this young lady play basketball, she's well worth watching.
She's wonderful.
She's
wonderful
amazing.
to play.
She shoots 3-pointers from farther out than Stephen Curry. So, but at the end of the day, she's wonderful to watch. It was a very good women's college basketball game, which to me is the purest form of basketball left in the world.
I love watching women's basketball.
Right, because
and especially obviously watch my Notre Dame men also, but watching our Notre Dame women, they're good. They're very good and they're fun to watch. And I watch UConn. UConn, what Gino has done up there is unbelievable.
And I think this is just me thinking out loud, and then having never played the game at a competitive level, you're watching a game that has to be played at the pure form because they don't really, well, for the most part, play above the rim, as they say in the NBA or college. For those guys, it's all about making the highlight reel and the jams and the dunks and stuff. But these women, they're worth watching. So,
and I grew up in Connecticut. I obviously didn't grow up in Connecticut, but I moved to Connecticut 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And to watch Diana Taurasi.
Oh, God, yeah.
When she was at UConn.
Yep.
Was really something special. I mean, if there was ever a girl that could play, or a woman that could play in the NBA, it would be her.
Yeah, she was
and
amazing.
To this day, she's still playing.
Yeah, she really is. They have had Sue Bird. I mean, all those girls. Rebecca Lobo. They've had so many great. He's had so many great players, and he is a great coach. And so I'm not going to lie to you and sit and say I watch every women's college basketball game on, but I did see that game was on. I think it was leading into the NFL game, so it was actually quite fun to watch. But I'm glad she's okay. I agree with you. Something needs to be done on that front. I'm sure the NCAA and all of the conferences agree with you. So let's look for some action on that end as well. Okay. We are going to transition, and I want to transition to your picks from last week because you said you weren't very good at this, but apparently you are. So
it's like the blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. And that's what happened to me last week.
Let's
just 3 out of 4.
Well, you hit him. So you predicted Baltimore 30-10. The final score was 34-10. Mm-hmm. All right, so pretty good. You predicted San Francisco 24-21. They didn't cover. You had San Francisco 35, Green Bay 10. All right, fine. You still had it pretty close. You predicted a close game between Detroit and Tampa Bay. You said Detroit 27, Tampa Bay 13, final 31-23. Still, pretty good. And you predicted Kansas City over Buffalo, which a lot of people took Buffalo. Buffalo was the favorite. 28-21, and obviously the Chiefs won 27-24. So if you wrote that Terry Hanratty, Jimmy the Greek pick, you did well. You did well.
And everyone I know is shocked. and no one more shocked than me.
Well, we're going to give you another chance a little later on to prognosticate, as they say. It's funny, we have from Pennsylvania, and we're coming up to it, Groundhog Day, Punxsutawney Phil. We got to come up with a nickname for Butler Terry.
Yeah, that's right. We'll figure that one out.
Prognosticator of prognosticators, for those of you who saw Groundhog Day. Okay, what's next on the agenda?
Well, we got a couple games this Sunday, I believe, right? We still going to play those?
Some minor games.
Hopefully we have good weather.
Well, it's not supposed to be good in Baltimore.
I know.
Yeah.
But we can always hope.
Yeah.
We can hope. The weathermen have occasionally been wrong.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's true. But all right, so you want to jump right in?
But the KC Ravens game is going to be interesting because Lamar Jackson. I just saw a couple of days ago, came out and said he didn't like competing against Patrick Mahomes.
Well, why would he say something like that?
I don't know. That was really surprising to me, and I had to, before I believed what I read, I had to see it again. And the next time that they scrolled across the bottom of the tape on ESPN, I saw that.
Yeah.
I go, wow, why would he say something like that?
That is interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to say you respect the guy, you think he's like Mahomes.
Yeah, because I think he's 1-3 against Mahomes.
Okay. I like Baltimore in this game. I don't know who you like, but if you want to share that now.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going the other way.
Oh, you are.
Oh yeah,
You're going Kansas City.
Again, it's Andy Reid and Mahomes, and Baltimore has their big tight end back this week, and that's been a real big bonus. I mean, this guy's probably the best tight end in the NFL, but he'll be coming back. But he's coming off a knee injury, so you just don't know how strong that's going to be.
Yeah.
But Mahomes, he just has so much talent around him, and he's just a magician with the ball. I mean, it's really scary to see. Now they're going to be able to. The thing is, can they stop the running game of Baltimore? That's the problem because most teams right now are not stopping the running game. It's amazing, but when you think about it, you only have X amount of dollars you can spend in the NFL, and but everybody always goes to the offense because you got to score. Everybody wants the quarterback, and once you get the quarterback, you can't afford anybody else.
Yeah.
That's why everybody said, San Francisco better win sometime in the next couple of years.
This is true.
Because their quarterback's still on his rookie contract, and he was the last person drafted. So once they have to pay him, watch out. Everybody else is gone.
So you're saying that the Baltimore tight end is coming back? Is that Isaiah Likely? Is that who you're referring to?
No, I can't.
Okay, so I'm just not clear on who that is, but that's...
I'm having my other...
That's okay. So they're healthy, you're saying, and you but you still like the Chiefs.
Yes, I like the Chiefs because I can't ever bet against Andy Reid. I think he is one of the premier coaches, ever to coach in the NFL.
I'll go head to head with you on this one for Starbucks.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs with the 4 points. They're getting 4 points, so I got to do it with the spread. So
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I got to give you 4.
Yeah. See,
well,
it's a little different story now.
Huh? How about even? Okay.
We'll get that. I always bet even.
All right, even. So
points I can't ever figure out.
All right. So Kansas City. What's the final score of that Kansas City Baltimore game?
Kansas City Baltimore. That's going to be pretty high scoring.
Okay.
I think the weatherman's going to be wrong.
Okay. Well, wow, another prediction.
I'm going to put that one down.
Tony
and
Terry.
That's weatherman's minus 4 points too. But I think it's going to be. I'd say 28-24.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a great game.
It's not a cover.
KC
right?
28. Baltimore 24. That's Terry's prediction. I'm gonna go the other way with it. I'm gonna say Baltimore. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna say Baltimore 28, KC 21, and I'm gonna say Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl. You have Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Maybe mine is wishful thinking. I don't like dynasties unless they're my team. And there's only one team that I've ever had in my life that I've rooted for that's a dynasty, and that's the New York Islanders. But
well, you had a dynasty with the Jets.
Thank you. Yes,
1969.
They're dynamic in the opposite direction. So let's move on to the San Francisco Detroit Lions game.
I would say immediately that it's the Niners in a blowout.
Okay.
2 things concern me. Last week I was really surprised that I didn't think that Bosa and Chase Young wanted to play in the game. Didn't like they really showed up in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually a huge force in pressuring the quarterback.
A little wet weather there too last week, which may have been a factor.
Well, the defense, you got to get off the ball. I mean, you have to somehow get across and get the pressure down.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think. And Deebo Samuel is right now he's questionable.
Questionable, yes.
And he is probably he's a huge portion of their offense.
Big part.
This guy can run reverses. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He does everything. And I think if he's healthy, I think they run away with it. Because I think the defense better pick up their game because they're getting closer and closer to that Super Bowl, and that's where they all want to be.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think everybody's going to pick Detroit for the sentimental because they've never been to a Super Bowl. The 2 teams, Cleveland and Detroit, have never been to a Super Bowl.
Which is amazing considering how long both those teams have been around, although Cleveland did have the change.
A little change of franchise,
The Ravens really are the Browns, I mean, because that's where they came from. But,
right.
Which has to drive Cleveland fans nuts, right? That this former franchise is not only has won a Super Bowl, but is might be going to another one. Okay, so your score on the Niners-Detroit game, you said a blowout. What do you got?
Yeah, well, the initial was a blowout. The real question marks are going to be whether Samuel can play.
Right. He's
And
questionable. And
he's
usually that
questionable.
means,
Questionable usually means he's going to play.
He's gonna play.
But then again, he didn't practice, and that the timing and everything there really it means a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna pick even though deep down I would love to see Detroit win.
I'm with you.
Because I think the Ford family have been great owners, and I think they deserve a shot at it. And I think the coach has done a great job, Campbell.
He has done a great job.
And getting everybody together, and Goff, the way the transition has been from when they trade with Stafford and Goff, and all of a sudden now Goff's going to be in the Super Bowl potentially.
Yeah, well,
but I still have to take the 49ers because I picked them a long time ago, and I would say 28-17.
So not that high score. Okay, so I thought you were going to say something like 45 to. All right.
No, I think the defenses are pretty darn good, both sides, and I think they'll hold each other down. I think it'll be a lot less scoring.
All right. So 28-17, you still have them covering the spread, which is 7 points, which I think is a lot for this type of game, a championship game.
28-17 is 11 points.
Well, no, but the spread is 7. What I'm saying is the spread of the game going in is 7 points. So if I were to take Detroit, I'd be up 7-0. But with that 7 points, that only gets you to 24. So I as much as I'd love to, and I would really like to see Detroit win this game. I agree with you on everything you said. I like new blood. I'd like to see somebody who hasn't won win, but I just cannot. I can't pick Detroit in this game. I think San Francisco.
You know who Detroit reminds me of?
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ah.
Way back when.
So this
when we were in our first bowl was Super Bowl 9. And here was this team that never won in 40 years. Here's this team that had all these young players. And here's this team that had no clue that they were even going to be there. And no one thought they'd ever be there.
Yeah.
But somehow we kept winning. And we won the Super Bowl. So maybe Detroit will get a stroke of luck. I would love to see it. My heart says Detroit. But I think if I had to make the bet, I'm picking the 49ers. But
yeah.
It's a way to hedge, isn't it?
See, now it's not. It's not a hedge. But I understand. And I think now that's a type of comment, right? So once we get some help in here, and this is a call for any intern or anybody who wants to work in social media to help us promote this podcast, because that's the type of thing that people would take and run with across the country. What you just said, that the former quarterback Terry Hanratty likens this Detroit team to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a very unique comment and much appreciated. So. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with your call on the Niners beating Detroit, and then we'll see on the other game. We disagree on that one, but that's very interesting. So that's and then we'll have a week off. We'll have a week off between. Which do you like that or not? You think that's a good thing?
I think it's a great thing.
Okay.
Because both teams are off.
Right. And
you have to manage that.
Okay.
And the 49ers obviously are in a better position to manage because they've been there before.
Okay.
But it's I have a couple great stories. We'll wait till the Super Bowl for the first Super Bowl.
Save some stuff.
We played in there, but I think and it's very difficult for one. I mean, you have a migration of 2 towns to one city,
right?
And to get the hotel rooms, to get the game tickets, and there's a lot. To get the families transported down there because every aunt and uncle from every player wants to go to the game, and the logistics is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So you really need that 2 weeks, not for the players.
Yeah.
But to promote the game and get everybody situated for the game.
Gotcha.
To make it, it's in Las Vegas, so it's going to be easy because there's a lot of hotels out there.
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
And
that'd
be easier, but not. They still need the 2 weeks for all the logistical problems.
All right. As a player, though, is it something, obviously you have time to heal your wounds, your nicks, but do you get stale? What's the practice like leading up to it?
Well, that's the coaches.
Yeah, okay.
That's the coach. Chuck Noll was always big on, we had contact throughout the season.
Yeah.
Nowadays they don't have contact at all.
Yeah.
Our offensive line probably went 3/4 speed with the defensive line every practice.
Yeah.
And when a running back ran the ball through the hole, he didn't get tackled, but he got a thump.
Yeah. I'm here.
To let you know I'm here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, wouldn't touch quarterback, which I was all for. But, that's what, it's up to the coach really to and Campbell, I don't know, was he with the Giants when they went to the Super Bowl? Probably was.
I think he was, yeah. I think
so he's got a little taste of that.
I like him. I like his personality. I think he's a good coach. I just, I think they might be a couple years away. I mean, this is going to be a great experience for them getting to this championship game in Detroit.
Oh, for sure.
But
and I would love to see it. I mean, I really would. I think because the Ford family are one of those classy old families from the NFL, like the Rooneys and the Maras and all the people that started the league.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, okay, so we have some games to watch, and then what else is on your mind? And anything in the sports world? Anything? Obviously that was a great take on the Caitlin Clark situation and storming the fields, and appreciate your input on that.
No, that's something that everybody should really take, and you see it in high schools too.
Yeah,
you can't have that in high schools.
No,
I mean, you have to really, like I said, if the game is against two teams that don't can't win.
Yeah.
But if a team is playing the number one team, there's always that chance for an upset in sports.
Yeah.
So you really have to really take attention there and really bring in extra security for a game like that. No matter what, high school on up to the pros. The pros do it well.
Yep.
But they should learn from the pros, the other teams.
I remember years ago, and this is going back maybe 25, 30 years, a girl was killed and I think it was at Harvard, it was a Harvard-Yale game perhaps, and they tore down the goalposts, and when the post came down, it hit her right in the head. So you would think after that, they would,
well, they sort of cured that. They have those collapsible.
Right, exactly. And I think that's...
there's still people rushing the field.
Right, rushing
the field. Which is dangerous in itself.
And even jumping, you see some places where they have to jump over a wall to get to the field.
Yes,
and they're getting... Right. They're breaking their head. So it's a little common sense, but I think, in the emotion of the moment, obviously, the fan is going to be the fan.
Don't let the disaster happen.
Right.
Cure it before.
Cure it, that's right. Preventive medicine is taking the first step to keep it from happening. Very good, Terry. We're going to close up shop here, and another version of Hanratty's Huddle is in the books. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dave.